up, breed them. Wake up, play them. Wake up, play them. Wake up, play them. Wake up, live them. Wake up, play 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 them. Now shut up.
Welcome to the Grizzled Game Cliches, episode 4. My name is Justin Williams, and with me,
Matt Stalkop. What's up? Man, let me tell you, it's good to be back.
it's really good to be back. I appreciate everyone's patience. I was ill, and then Matt was
And then
drill.
I had drill. Yeah, see, I was going to say that. I'm so glad we were both on the same page.
We're getting
You were
better.
ill,
We're
I
getting
had
better
drill.
at this. Real better.
Great. Awesome. Sweet. So yeah, anyway, like he said, we're back now. Don't you fret, don't you worry. We're back. So something we did, which I thought was pretty awesome to kind of, in a way sort of make up for our lack of content, is we did our first giveaway.
Woo!
We were going to do giveaways, but I think we were going to do them eventually.
Yeah.
And so the Humble Bundle came out, and then we bought some shit, and then boom, giveaway.
We didn't expect to miss 2 sessions so early,
Right.
But granted, flu season did just start basically when we started this thing. So,
So congratulations to I'm gonna say I'll probably mess it up, KMC88 on Twitter, and I'd like to thank everyone who liked and retweeted. We got about 10 of you guys, which was I thought it was pretty great.
yeah, that is awesome.
It's pretty
great
great.
for a low key thing like this.
Yeah.
We haven't done a ton of outreach yet, but so it looks like you had a lot of fun doing that giveaway.
Oh yeah. I pretty much did, I think, all of it actually. But it was really fun. I thought it was really cool. It was really great to retweet it, wake up in the morning and see oh my God, somebody else retweeted it today. You know what I mean? So that was fun. We're definitely going to be doing more of that. And if you guys want to be in on that, make sure you're following us on all of our social media. We're probably going to do it a little bit differently next time. So
do you want to give those names out?
Sure. If I knew them. No, we're so Facebook, it's Grizzled Game Cliches. What are we on Twitter? Grizzled Game Cliches, or at Cliche Gamers. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, and I'm working on the Tumblr right now. I'm not sure if that's just an experiment, but we'll see how it goes.
Also, if you want to get in contact with us, grizzledgamercliches@gmail.com.
If we start getting questions, we'll start doing that on the show for sure.
Stuff to talk about.
Yeah. So as a big fan of Battleborn, the redheaded stepchild of Borderlands.
Yeah.
I think it's my duty to inform you that today is Battleborn Community Day.
Yeah.
And if you have fond feelings like me and want to see kind of where they've taken it, hop on the game for extra EXP, items, and more. The other piece of that is that this is actually being run by the community. So they're just trying to, re-energize the player base, essentially.
So you were telling me about this earlier, and I was actually kind of curious. Is Gearbox, do they have any involvement in this at all?
So I think the community reached out to Gearbox, and they said, "Oh yeah, for sure, we can make that happen, basically."
Right.
And that's where the extra EXP items, all that stuff, come in.
Yeah.
Because obviously they can't go in there and change that, but it looks to be really cool. I'm curious to see how it goes. I think it was actually from the 11th to the 13th, so it's like a 3-day event. Which I think today is the 13th, is it not?
Today's the 12th, so
12th. Okay, so till
basically
tomorrow.
till the end of the weekend. Yeah. So
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I never actually bought or played that game, but I always I wanted it to succeed because I like Gearbox, and I I want them to keep making games. I was a huge Borderlands and still am a huge fan of Borderlands, so I want them to continue to make games. So, in a way, I'm really hoping that this event goes well, because I don't know that game's been doing that great in terms of...
It really hasn't, and the player base has dropped so much.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge PvP element or following to that game.
Yeah.
That's not really where I like to play. I like the casualness of sitting down and playing a story mission and just getting to really start to understand and know that whatever character I pick. For me, it's always Boulder. I just love that guy. He's so weird.
I always thought it was a shame that they released right around the time of Overwatch, which, I mean, they're really kind of two different games, but it's that, team-based, class-based shooter.
And just general art style.
Yeah.
The art style's kind of... We're similar enough to confuse people. And Blizzard didn't do them any favors either by coming at their throat the entire time. So
well, I mean, that's just Blizzard, being a multi-million-dollar company that's protecting or trying to protect their IP. I mean, I get that.
Yeah, well, and it's a brand new IP, so
exactly.
they really wanted to make
their first one in
right.
what was it, 13 years or something? So they had a lot riding on it, and they really wanted that to succeed. So get out and play Battleborn, people. It's a good game. You should play it.
There's one other thing I wanted to talk about, kind of in the same line, is actually the Division recently had a really large update date to rebalance the game and make it feel more of a shooter.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of the fun that you would have in early levels, where it would be, kind of similar to another third-person shooter in terms of how long it took to kill an enemy, and how long it takes to get you killed too.
Right.
It goes both ways, but the game, they did this huge rebalancing patch, and I actually got on there last night and I started running around, and I'm max level, but it was so much fun. I was like, oh man, I really need to hop back into this game. I have it on PC as well, so I'll probably do that. But yeah, definitely go and check that out. That patch is awesome.
Yeah, that's also another game that I think in recent months player counts have just plummeted. You know what I mean?
So Division is different. I would say that it hasn't plummeted as much. It was because of Dark Zone. I think Dark Zone saved that game, where you just run into this thing and it's just kind of the Wild West, and you group up with people. If you're on console, you can automatically hear everyone. There's near field communication.
Oh, that's cool. I always love that in games. That's so cool.
So you'll be walking around a corner and you're like, hold up, there's people coming.
Yeah, watch out.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think that really saved it. But so some good stuff going on this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good weekend for gamers.
So what's going on with you, Matt?
Oh, so much. So I got this job interview today, which is going to be pretty great. It's second interview, so for those who don't know, I'm a chef in the outside of the gamer world. So when you interview in a kitchen, basically the sit down actual talking interview, which is pretty important at most other places, means almost nothing in an actual kitchen interview, because it I could tell you I'm the greatest cook in the world, but you have to actually see me cook. So this interview, I'm gonna actually go and cook and make a plate and hopefully get the job. It's closer to my house, and we recently moved to another city, so I'm kind of looking for something closer and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna go great, and it's just gonna be nice, man. Having this weekend, for those of you who don't know, I'm in the National Guard, so we had a weird thing where it was drills at the end of one month and then the beginning of another month, so it's just been 3 weeks of craziness and just not a lot of downtime. So this weekend I'm free to do whatever the hell I want.
It's time to play some video games.
Time to play some video games. So
yeah,
that's what's going on with me. What about you? What about you?
This week's been interesting.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to get back on track. Work is crazy busy right now, just because we're doing this huge revamp. And I'm in quality control, so that means a lot in the beginning. A lot of that is my job, whereas later on it ends up kind of passing to someone else. I pass the baton, but yeah, it's really good. I got back to the gym today, feeling good about that. I rode the 15, 20 miles, somewhere in there. on the stationary bike and just watched a movie. That's kind of, I think that's now the way I'm going to work out. There's no more, I'm not going to like, yeah, let's bench, yeah, let's like fucking lift, yeah, all right. Like, just going to go in there and do some cardio because that's what I want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could, strength training definitely is important, but I would think, I would say do more functional exercises. Mm-hmm. You know, don't sit there and bench press, but do like, push-ups or like, something that gets your heart rate up.
I think so. That'll be in my future for sure. It's just getting back into the swing of things. I think it's a lot easier to get that cardio back up and going to get your energy back up to go do this thing.
Yep. Yeah, cardio is important. So we're now an exercise podcast.
So the X5Z X7J stationary bike is my favorite, and it's because the pedals go all the way to the metals.
All the way to the metals. That's important in a stationary bike.
Yeah, it is.
That is so important in a stationary bike.
Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm probably going to also play a bunch of games and then go drink and play board games tonight. So.
Oh, you should do that. Sounds great.
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, let's see here. It looks like it is time once again for Uncredible Telephone.
Uncredible Telephone.
Hello?
Welcome to Uncredible Telephone, where we've been faking game rumors since the early 90s.
Nintendo was caught with their pants down when the Nintendo Switch was announced and their stock dropped 7 points. Nintendo was quoted saying, "Wait, what? You aren't excited about our console, but you continue to turn excessive amounts of Pokemon into candy? Fuck this, I'm done."
Ubisoft is looking into going toward a subscription-based model similar to EA Access for their new releases, stating, "Hey, why stop at an annual release?"
Tim Cook of Apple was reported as saying that the newest iPhone will have the ability to have Joy-Cons attached to it, which is why we got rid of the headphone jack.
Bethesda decided it will no longer be giving review copies to reviewers. When asked to comment, they said, "Let's see them leak this, Kotaku."
Rockstar Game Company closed its doors for good today during a police raid. The police reportedly found 10 kilos of cocaine and a huge amount of black tar heroin. Ivan Schneebly, a writer of GTA Red Dead, responded with only this to say, "Hey, it's a living."
The Watch Dogs 2 Collector's Edition comes with a robot. Pre-order it now, and for only $30 more, you can also get the Ultra Super Hyper Edition, which comes with the game, the robot, a hack to your bank account, and a visit from the police.
That sounds like a really good deal, actually. I'm quite impressed. Titanfall 2 was released, and all we know for certain is that one shall stand and one shall fall.
No Man's Sky of Hello Games had their Twitter hacked. The hacker reportedly apologized to everyone for the condition of the game at launch. Hello Games immediately set the account to protect it, and when asked if what was stated by the hackers was true, Sean Murray said, "Maths." Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. For Grizzled Game News, I'm Matt Stalka. Our top story tonight is several
taken to a new level. Ready for a new Assassin's Creed? This might be waiting a long time.
Because the Steam sale is looking like a doozy. All right, well, those were some pretty solid game rumors, man. I think, wow, that robot.
Yeah, man, that's going to be so cool.
I want the robot.
And, I've kind of missed the Police. I'm going to be honest. They're a great band. They kind of faded into the back, and it's going to be great to see them.
Yeah.
For the low price of $5,000.
All right, so our first news story today. Keep in mind, we wrote this script a while ago, so some of this might not be super relevant, but we haven't talked about it yet, so it's relevant to us. So Skyrim Special Edition launched. So if you already have these, I want to say Skyrim plus all the DLC or the Legendary Edition on PC, you should already have Skyrim Special Edition.
Yep.
I know I already had it. I think I bought the Legendary Edition. So
yeah, it was like $6 one year.
Yeah, I think I spent like 10.
Yeah,
because I already had it on Xbox, and I was like, man, I'm gonna buy it on PC, but when the price is right. And then I saw it. It was probably a Steam sale. It's probably a Steam sale. $10. I was like, yep, I will have that. So I've been playing it.
On that note, actually, Steam Halloween sale happened as well.
Yeah, it's over now.
little bit ago, but it's really, I don't know. I kind of wanted to talk about this. It's really interesting Does that mean they're trying to find different points in the year to push games?
Well, and this one was interesting because I don't know if you looked at it, Justin, but it wasn't just games. They had a crap ton of horror movies that they were selling.
Oh, really?
Like on sale, yeah. Which I forget that Steam does that. They have like video content on Steam. I that happened at some point. I don't know when, but I just, because obviously I don't go to Steam for like my video content. So when I see things like that, I mean, I'm talking, they probably must have had, dozens and dozens of horror movies just on sale. I was like, oh, wow.
That's really interesting. I'm kind of curious if Steam, I know that they have been doing this movie push kind of quietly, but do you think Steam will ever try and sell you a subscription to their movies?
Kind of like how Netflix and all that. It
is Valve, though.
I'm gonna say no because I think their business model is purchases. I mean, they don't have any kind of other subscription based stuff, do they? No.
Well, not yet, but I mean, there is a new gaming website that just came out. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but essentially, they're trying to be the Netflix or whatever of games. GameFly is kind of tapping into streaming games. You've got people who are going to come for their market for sure. So I guess, what do you think the future of Steam is?
Well, I think honestly, they're probably going to stay the course for a good long while. I think they're probably going to be a don't fix it if it's not broke kind of mentality. I think as they break out more, I think it's just going to be, the future of Steam is probably just them selling you different things. So, like, obviously we've seen with hardware, they've broken into the hardware market. Obviously with, with movies.
Do you think that paid mods are coming back?
I fucking hope not. I mean, I was kind of on the fence about the whole paid mod argument because I am the kind of person where if there is a good solid bit of content for a game that I already enjoy, I don't mind paying money for it. I'm not super huge into like DLC, but for instance, if I get a DLC like, I don't know, Dawn Guard for Skyrim, which I actually enjoyed, I'm more than happy to pay money for that. But the problem is games nowadays aren't super moddable. Like, there's games like Skyrim that come out, but people expect games like that to be... Go ahead.
Wasn't Dawn Guard a main expansion, though? I think it was.
Yeah, but it's technically in the realm of DLC. The point I'm trying to make is that I prefer mods, like little tiny things that do small amounts of stuff to the game. Like, the alternate start mod for Skyrim. I would never pay money for that. That is a great piece of content, and whoever made that... You
wouldn't pay money for that? I'd pay 99 cents.
Okay, I mean, maybe like a 99 cents for something like that. Sure.
See, the way I think, I think where they went wrong is at their pricing model. I think you could take something like, think about all the free-to-play crap that's on an Android store. If you took that pricing model and you said, well, yeah, this definitely took that person way more time than 99 cents worth, but they're going to make up for it in quantity, I think, at that point. I could honestly, I think that's Bethesda's push.
Sure.
If you look at adding mod support to console and adding mod support, they're increasing the size of that market.
Well, and also...
and even if they made paid mods come to the consoles and not the PC at first, and then kind of make the PC players angry that they can't get this exclusive stuff, and then they
that's
release
where
it.
I could see the market being... that's where I could see a market for it. So, for instance, if you take a mod like the alternate start mod, and maybe Bethesda pays that person who makes that mod to make it available across all platforms, then charging, say, 99 cents for it or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I could see that because, Skyrim for me is not a game that I would really play on console, but I don't want people on console to not have the full experience or, to have them... I don't think the right answer is to say, well, just switch to PC. Now, some people just aren't going to do that. They want to play Skyrim on their couch in their living room, and I think they should have... all the same stuff. Now, obviously, there's a bunch of technical complications and things like that going on with that, but I guess my point is that in that sense, I could see paid mods being a good thing.
I think what's interesting is that when you talk about kind of console restrictions, I feel like console restrictions are starting to go away.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to start seeing them iterate faster, yes, of course, you're going to always have hard drive restrictions on a console. That makes total sense to me. But in terms of like the actual RAM to run the thing, the stability of the engine, that's all on Bethesda. So Bethesda, I think it capped out at like 16 gigs, I want to say, is with a mod that you could get Skyrim to run up to, and you had to be running it in a 64-bit operating system, of course. So they're definitely running consoles at a 64-bit operating system. I think it's really interesting. I'm kind of curious. We're going to do things a little bit differently. I think we should just combine news and what we've been playing, since we're on the topic of Skyrim.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about the special edition?
I enjoy it. I always played Skyrim modded on the PC. Every time I would reinstall the game, I would go to Skyrim Nexus and sort of pick up all of the different mods that I like. But I had always had issues with graphic mods. All of the gameplay mods and the things that added stuff to the game, I've never really had a problem with, but I, for some reason, never really had great success with graphic mods. So for me, with the Skyrim Special Edition coming out and saying like, well, you don't need to really mess with those too much, just here it is, and I was really happy about that. I'm also playing the game a lot differently than I would normally play it. Every time I play the game, I always make a Breton, and I always go like pure mage. And that's really great, but there's a turning point somewhere around probably like level 15 or 20 or so, where you go from being completely underpowered and getting your ass kicked to being completely unstoppable. I think at one point when you get your conjuration up high enough, you can get like a frost atronach or whatever. You just kill everything with, So now I'm playing an Argonian. I'm doing the stereotypical sneaky thief archer, which I am having so much fun with. It is so much fun.
I went Khajiit, but I also went to start. I went Sneaky Thief, and I was playing a lot of vanilla Skyrim, but this is what's happened to me. It's interesting. It's like it worked for a while, and then I was like, wait, no, I've played this. Yeah, I really want like a different experience. And then I got Live Another Day, which is not Live Another Day. What is it? Live a Different Life. Sorry. And got to start in like an army, and that's really ignited the experience. However, that's a very dark road, because now I've just modded the shit out of my Skyrim. The question I had for you is how is vanilla, and are you sticking to it? Do you feel like you're missing certain things, or? Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I do, for sure. Like I don't feel like I'm feeling it as much, because a few of my favorite mods are like I said, the alternate start mod. So to have to go through the vanilla start again, as someone who's done it a lot, I was kind of like, okay, well, here we go, and then I'm going to do this, and then all right, let's keep going. Come on. Like, I was just sort of like almost impatient. So I feel like I got started on the wrong foot. After that, I mean, I did a little bit of the main storyline, but I think right now I haven't played in a few days, but I think I'm pretty far into the Dark Brotherhood storyline.
Oh, nice.
But one of the things I'm definitely missing is there was a mod, and I can't remember the name of it, but it basically redoes the perk tree, and how you get perks and what those perks even do for you.
That's the one I really like.
God, I'm missing that mod, because honestly, the vanilla perk tree is like, in my opinion, it's meh. I mean, and
it's so slow. Like, leveling ends up taking like. The reward that you get from leveling ends up taking like 5 levels at a time to really see any forward progress.
And that's my thing, because I'm trying to also level up my alchemy, my enchanting, and my smithing. But if you also have to level up your one-handed weapons, your light armor, your archery. You can only put 1 point in each thing per level, and some of those things you have to put more than 1 point into them. To get
archery is so
effect.
underpowered in vanilla, because you start to think about how you can only find arrows or buy them, and
well,
you're like, why don't I have crafting?
You can
to
craft
make
them.
this?
You can craft them. I don't know which DLC. I want to say it was Dawnguard, but yeah, you can craft them with 1 firewood and an ingot. You can make 28 arrows. So that's
interesting.
So that's cool. I haven't really had a problem with arrows. I feel like I'm finding plenty of them. I mean, I've crafted a bunch of them to get my smithing up, but
for me, it's different strengths, right? So like, I would want to keep like better arrows on me all the time, but as an archer, you're not really inclined to. I mean, if you're just pursuing it in the way that the game kind of tells you to, right? You're not inclined to actually find materials for those things. So you have to actually stop what you're doing, go prepare for a little bit, come back.
Well, and it's really I've leaned more towards one-handed weapons.
Yeah,
you know, just because I never do that. I've never really played with weapons in the game. I've always either done magic or archery or whatever. But you know, I'm leaning more towards that because I feel like archery is really good. Like when you're in stealth and like your first attack, like maybe your first like 2 or 3 arrows are good. But then as soon as they find you, I just switch to the one-handed because you know.
I think I've been rocking. Like I said, I started a soldier orc guy, and I've been rocking the 2-hand with him, and so I'm the opposite, right? So I went and I modded. I got like I added deadly bosses. I added kill move mods so that they look cooler and they happen more often, or it can happen without only down to 1 enemy in a group. My follower can't die.
That's okay. I'm glad you said that because that's the other thing that I'm really like I've played modded so long that I'm surprised that some of this stuff isn't in the base game. But like I would always play with I forget the name of it, but there was a follower mod where they basically made them smarter and they could do more things. But then there's also one where every time you mount up, they have their own horse.
Cool.
I've played with that for so long that I didn't realize that wasn't in the game already. So when I got my first horse and Lydia didn't jump on hers, I was like, oh, right.
Oh, gosh.
Shit.
Yeah.
And then, so obviously I'm riding my horse. I'm 1,000 times faster than her. So, you know, I was riding my horse and I just engaged something in combat. And I was looking around. I was like, wait, where's Lydia? Oh, that's right. She's all the fucking way back there because she's walking. You know? And it's like things like that where I'm just like, oh, right. This is why I play modded every time.
Yeah,
so,
and in that vein, even with the stuff I've added, I restrained myself from adding the really, really quick follower mod that was on there, which is just change their walking speed in the event that they get far away from you. I'm going to add that like today because there's so many times I look back, I'm like, where are you? Where did you go? Like I was just walking on foot and somehow I lost you in the mountains.
Well, so much in that game, you know, obviously there's a lot of dungeons and stuff you go into, but a lot of that game happens in the open world. And so, you know, you have to have your follower with you, especially for someone like me. I mean, I'm doing like the light armor build, so like, you know, I'm relatively squishy. I can hold my own for like 1 or 2 enemies, but if I get swarmed, that's where I really need Lydia to be there bashing some heads in. So yeah, I was really disappointed because I'm missing a lot of those mods. So to answer your original question, so far I'm keeping to the vanilla. I really am hesitant to mod it because I feel like if I mod it, I'm gonna want to start over, and I think I'm almost level 20. I'm pretty far in to start over. So
I just start a new character if you mod it, because you can always turn off mods, and I think that's the best thing about Special Edition. You can do that from the main menu. You can go in there and I believe they automatically do load order, so you don't have a ton of crashing. I think I've crashed 1 time, but I think it was unrelated. I think it had something to do with my Steam Link.
Also, I just have to make a mention of Sky UI because that game is terrible to play on PC without it.
I wish that so the last time I was in the mod store, they didn't have Sky UI yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's there yet.
But I would say that like every day I came back, more and more and more modders were adding to that store.
Yeah, and it's
like it was growing really quickly.
And I don't know the technical side behind taking your vanilla Skyrim mod and porting it over to Special Edition.
Yeah, I don't either.
But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of my favorite mods come back, and now that I haven't played for at least a week, I'm sure that I'm sure that there's a lot in there. But yeah,
Yeah.
I might do that because I mean I'm having a lot of fun. But I mean really, I say I'm super far, but as far as I've gotten is only the the Dark Brotherhood stuff. I haven't gotten super far in the main campaign. It wouldn't be the end of the world to start over.
Here's kind of what's interesting too about Skyrim Special Edition. Kind of, they didn't really say what changed, but like they did a lot of fog work. They redid their water. They
God rays.
They added God rays. They added blur distance. They added all these kind of more technical features that a new game has and makes it look better. So what's interesting that's coming out of this is all of these people who have already done these mods, like the Better Water one, they already have like this intimate knowledge of how they do water or how they script that stuff. And so they've gone in and they've made the new water look better, and that's already out.
Wow.
Like,
'cause that new water looks great, by the way, even unmodded.
So what this one adds is like actually having water react in the way that it would in a pond versus a river versus a lake, and it's very noticeable. I also got the awesome weather mod, which makes storms really cool. I've really enjoyed that one. Anyway, I could talk for Skyrim for the rest of this podcast.
Oh yeah, me too. Easily. Easily. I will say, to wrap it up, if you already... how do I want to say this? I would recommend buying it for consoles. If you don't already have all the DLCs on PC, I don't know that it's worth buying all of those for the special edition on PC.
To that note, I would say that wait 2 weeks, see what happens with their Steam sale, their holiday stuff. And you could probably still pick that stuff up cheap. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Bethesda removes it.
What do you mean?
And sells you this one.
Oh yeah.
Because the special edition, I believe, has all DLCs.
I don't know. Let me check Steam. Can you just buy it? I think I was under the impression the only way to get it was to buy. Oh no, you can buy it outright. Okay, so
you can buy it outright.
It's $40 on Steam, and the Skyrim. So if you buy the Legendary Edition now, will they just give it to you?
I'm unclear. I don't think so anymore since it's released.
Right. So anyway, yeah, I would say on PC, wait. On consoles, you could either wait for it to go on sale or just buy it now, because I imagine on consoles this thing's just being amazing.
It's an experience console players have yet to really have with their games, and only got a taste of in Fallout.
Yeah, especially if you're getting. I don't know this for a fact, but I would just imagine like the PS4 Pro that just came out would look really good on that. I would just imagine. So Skyrim, man.
PS4 Pro, that thing apparently is a letdown. Based on what I'm hearing, it makes sense given that the console released without really it had support for games, but it was kind of like the Wii, where it was like Twilight Princess on the Wii, where it was like, we're gonna jam that in there.
I think I'll wait for Scorpio. I've never really been a big PlayStation guy, but
me too.
This one, I could see if you have a 4K TV already, right?
Yeah,
because that's really the big appeal of the Pro. If you already have that, and you maybe don't have a next gen console, or we're looking into one, I could see it making sense to you. But I think going out and getting a 4K TV and all this kind of stuff for the Pro is not worth it.
No,
don't do it.
4K TV. I mean, once we see what natively Xbox Scorpio is going to actually run at, because we have all these theories right now, and I almost think it's going to be pushed to the next year. I know
definitely.
that they said it was going to launch, but to get real 4K gaming where they probably want it, they need another year.
Yeah. Well, and I think I feel like in a way, at first I thought that because the Pro was going to come out first, I thought that Microsoft would sort of speed up the Scorpio, but I think they don't feel threatened. Like, I don't think that they feel threatened by the Pro, because I feel like they're trying to.
Xbox is continuing to outsell this holiday season, or this fall season has been continuing to outsell PlayStation, and that's including with the pre-orders of the PS4 Pro. So I'm kind of interested to see, like, is this the power shift? Are we going to see Xbox kind of take over for a bit before PlayStation gets their next thing out there, which I'm sure they've already, like their Scorpio killer or whatever, they're already working on?
Really determined. I think the real big determining factor is going to be, just how powerful is it for what price? Because obviously the PS4 Pro has its sort of spot in the market right now, but I don't think that the PS4 Pro and the Scorpio are going to be in the same market. I feel like it's going to be like, well, you could get your base Xbox and PS4 and they're kind of the same, or you could get the Pro, that's one step up, or one step above that, you could get the Scorpio. I think that is what they're trying to do. The problem with that is at what price?
Yeah.
Are people going to pay $600 for an Xbox, $700 for an Xbox?
I still think it's 6 to 7 for the Scorpio.
I think
if you're selling someone 4K hardware, there's no way that you're going to be able to come, like, as a business, be able to sell it less than that.
Well, and also
4K computers are like $1,400 to $1,600 in there. Like,
I also think that Sony did shoot themselves a little bit in the foot with the PlayStation VR, because it's just not that great. I haven't heard great things about it. I really haven't. It's using those outdated Move controllers, which, there's something to be said about that in the first place. But then, I've also just heard that sometimes the tracking is just not good, which in VR, that's like 90% of it is you have to have solid tracking. So anyway, I think with that, I think so too. I have a friend who has played it. I haven't played it myself, but he says he just gets sick, and he can see the screen, and it's still better than the other. Like I have a Gear VR, and he says it's much better than that, but it's not that much better, and there's still no games. So yeah, and I think this is where we're going to say, well, there are games, but they're games that have been out for a while. They're games that were on the Vive and the Oculus.
They're not games. They're mini games.
They're more like mini games or like proof of concept.
Yeah, I like experiences as much as the next person, but if you're going to launch on a gaming console, a headset, you got to have at least one game that, and this is new territory. So to be fair, I don't think we know exactly where VR is going to really succeed in gaming yet.
And that's also why I think Microsoft doesn't feel threatened, and why they're going to release the Scorpio when they feel ready to release it, because they're not feeling the I don't think they're feeling like, well, if we don't release before Sony, we're going to miss out on the market, because they're competing, I think, in two different markets right now. I think Microsoft is going for the real power user, like the people who want the most powerful, badass console.
Right.
And, just based off of their recent stuff, I think Sony is going to go more into like the experimental side, with the VR headset, and maybe they'll have like the PSVR 2, which, uses new controllers or something. I don't know.
But they seem to be really taking it as a business pretty seriously. And so in terms of risk reward, I don't think they have a ton of reward from a lot of risk right now, because and they're the quickest company to just drop something that isn't working. Right. And just stop support.
I feel like in a lot of ways, the VR probably wasn't tested enough. Like they probably, or either that, or it was, and they just realized like, okay, this is the best we're gonna get. Let's see how it does.
Yeah, it was probably a due date. They were like, okay, so I guess we have to hit this date, and then we'll just work on the next iteration.
Yeah, like I said, to make a, I don't know the price of the bundle, but to make a VR headset in that price range that makes sense is difficult, because with where the technology's at right now, like, what is the Vive? $800? $700 with controllers or something? Plus the Oculus, I think, is even more expensive than that. So it's not cheap to do, and
I do think mid-range headsets, like VR headsets, are going to be the future. Yeah. I don't think that the really, really high end is actually, those are going to be great and look the best, but what people are actually going to play and be amazed by or whatever are going to be those mid-tiers.
Sure, yeah, and I think you're 100% right. I personally, maybe $300 is about, for me, what I would be willing to put into a VR headset.
That's kind of why when I think about a PlayStation headset, because supposedly it was going to have PC support, and I'm not sure where that lands or when that lands. But I still think that if it has PC support, it might be something I actually consider if they get that game that they figure out what does this thing do well.
Yeah, and really, so like right now, I guess the way that I would be looking at it, if I was looking into buying a PSVR, is like, okay, I'm gonna get this headset, I'm gonna do all this stuff, and then what am I gonna do with it? What am I gonna play? Like, I think they really what they should have done is said, introducing, PSVR, it sells at this bundled with this game, and then have a game that comes out and maybe it's like a PSVR exclusive, and then have that game be pretty fucking good. The problem with that is I don't think that they had the technology, or not the technology, but I think they even realized that their headset wasn't going to be that great. You know what I mean? Because I've just seen so many people saying like, yeah, it sometimes works, and when it works, it's good, but like it rarely works,
Right, yeah, like the spatial stuff is really not working as well.
Yeah, and I think I just personally think it's a little too early in VR's life cycle for a major company like Sony to go into it. I don't think that the technology is there yet. I mean,
I don't think it's a bad idea for Sony to go into it necessarily, because it pays to be first. So I don't know. I think VR is something that we're just going to have to watch. It's a wait and see technology at this point.
I'm excited for the future of VR. Me personally, I eventually would love to get into VR. I just think for right now, it's not for people like me. Like, I don't care enough about it to invest the amount of money to get the HTC Vive, which is probably, I think, the best, most affordable one right now.
So here's the catch with the Vive. It's also the most uncomfortable.
Yeah, right. Which is a huge deal when it comes to, So, and I mean, beyond all of that, like, it's still just so expensive, and there's nothing. I mean, there are really great proof of concept games. There's really great games that now have VR support, but there's not a really good VR game. Like, this is a game that, and that's part of that, is that it's very limiting. I mean, the movement. And go ahead.
When I think of something like No Man's Sky, where it might actually benefit from that because it's a slow enough pace to that game. That seems really, I don't know, it seems kind of interesting to see Sony take that on. I don't think they're pushing probably that support as fast as people wanted it initially because of all the stuff that's happened with No Man's Sky.
Well, and I think there's still just so many problems with VR that haven't been really solved. Like, I know the biggest one right now is the movement. Because there are certain ways that you can do it, and there are certain ways you can't do it without making people sick. So how do you make a game that is very limited right now, at least with where the technology is, that is very limited on movement? With a lot of games, that's a big fucking deal. So,
and they're kind of sticking to teleporting. But actually, on the topic of No Man's Sky, it looks like their Twitter account was hacked.
Yep.
And I'm so like torn as to actually what happened, because it seems like hackers went on there and were like, No Man's Sky was a mistake. Basically, we're sorry we shipped it early before it was ready. And then they also responded to, because they had access to Sean Murray or Hello Games' email, and then they responded to someone who was inquiring whether or not it was real.
Right.
So the hacker then did that, and I'm like, man, this seems so far-fetched. Like, how did this possibly happen?
Yeah, my conspiracy about the whole thing is that it was internal. I think it was somebody from Hello Games, just said, you know what, fuck this. Because Hello Games right now is probably a dumpster fire. Like, I would not want to go to work in that studio,
I don't know.
In the morning.
I think there's a lot of love, a lot of great ideas, and I think I'm guessing what Sean Murray is probably doing is going, okay, well, we're going to go radio silent and we're just going to fix this game.
Yeah.
And that's what they're working on right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and I hope they do, because I really want, I still don't have it, but I want it. But I want it to be like what I thought No Man's Sky was going to be. I don't want the game as it is right now. I want what it was supposed to be when it launched,
If it has like actual like interaction with the environment, like building, because it has crafting, but if you can actually build something and it becomes more of like I would say almost more of a typical survival sim at that point, that still really interests me, because all these planets are, there are repeating attributes and things like that happen, but if you can actually interact with the place and like say that I built this like giant empire, basically in this area, I think adding the ability to, like, once you master the race of a language, adding that interaction to say, hey, come live here, or something, so that you have more interaction with the world. What's really missing with No Man's Sky is the interaction between the cultures that they've established and the player. It's still really fun to just sit there and grind out resources and explore planets and go, what am I going to see next? But it probably repeats a little bit often, which I'm sure they can fix with math. And then, yeah, I almost think that the game is close, and it's closer, I think, than most people see. But it's never going to be what they promised, this giant experience, and everyone kind of threw on like, oh, there's going to be co-op play and all this stuff. It's not going to happen. This is a budget indie title, but it can be a really good one.
Yeah, I just checked out their Steam page just because I was curious, and it's got basically 75,000 reviews, overwhelmingly negative.
Oh yeah. Well,
I mean,
people are pissed because it's not what they had in their head.
Right, man. That's such a sad.
And it says something about the marketing, and it says something about Sony that they'd come out and just throw them under the bus like that. But which is, again, I continue to support Xbox because of that kind of stuff, where I'm like, this is shady business practice by Sony.
Yep. All right. Well, let's No Man's Sky. So let's talk about shooters. Let's talk about some shooters. Battlefield, at this point, Battlefield, Call of Duty, and Titanfall are all out. What are your thoughts?
I really, really liked what I played of Battlefield 1, which was the trial.
Yep.
It was something completely different, and I'm looking forward to going back to that. Probably not at a $60 price tag, and then plus the season pass that you'd actually have to continue to play that game, really, because it will split the player base so fast.
As it always does.
Yeah, Infinite Warfare, I haven't played. I've watched a bunch of stuff on. Apparently, I was listening to Giant Bomb, and the campaign sounds really interesting. And the multiplayer still is Call of Duty, and it still feels slow. And that's to the next point, which is Titanfall. Oh my gosh. So I've been playing a lot of Titanfall.
Yeah, you and a lot of people.
It's kind of based on... I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to dive in day one with this game, and I ended up doing it, and I don't regret it at all.
Are you on Xbox?
Yeah.
Okay. How's it look?
It looks gorgeous.
Nice.
Like, it's stunning how far that console has actually come. I think it's because games are starting to actually take advantage of DirectX 12. So anyway, back to Titanfall. Like, the campaign is something that is kind of a mixed bag for me. The campaign for a lot of people was what sold them kind of on the concepts, but I've always really enjoyed Titanfall's movements. So like having these platforming moments, that was cool, but I wasn't necessarily wowed by the storyline.
Right.
It's still better to me. It was still better than a Call of Duty campaign. It still maybe it felt like less expensive, like less money went into it.
Yeah,
but
I've always been under the impression, especially with all three of these games, that when they release a game, their main focus is multiplayer. With a lot of these games, I feel like the single player is there to have it, and a lot of them, especially with Battlefield, is like it's there to basically give you a primer on what you can expect in multiplayer. You know, it's to get you used to playing the game without the fear of, you know, actually playing with other people.
And that's where Titanfall differs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Titanfall ends up being like getting you really used to the movement, I'd say, is probably their primary target. And then it's like, okay, well, what is this relationship between you and your Titan? So they explore that a bit. The thing that they don't explore as much that I would really enjoy is to talk about the world a bit more. Like, okay, well, what they have like bullet points of what's actually going on, and apparently there are audio logs. I didn't find a single one of those, so I'm gonna have to go back through there and try and find those. But I don't know. It's really good. It's well produced. It's like, if I was a sliding scale 1 to 10, I'd say it's probably like in the 6 to 7 range for me.
The campaign.
Yeah.
Okay.
With that said, its multiplayer always makes me feel like I'm winning.
Really?
It's the Trump of multiplayer. Yes. Like It is. It's like you get in there and you have a weapon that levels up. You have yourself that levels up. You're unlocking, if you do, in very much a Call of Duty fashion, if I kill 50 guys with this gun, then I get this skin. It has a really high focus on skins. So
you've been getting any
basically with your
Doritos or Mountain Dew?
No, I haven't done any of that. I thought about it though. I was trying to figure out where in my town where that actually ended up.
Right.
Being because it's such a small town. Yeah, it's 7-Eleven and Albertsons, I believe, are the two places I can get it. I haven't been that far into it, and I think that only reason is because I'm not playing with friends. If I was playing with friends, I'd probably be a little more gung-ho.
I've thought about getting it. You might have a friend to play it with.
You should. It's really good. I love the addition of a grapple hook. I think it's... is it Jeff Gersman? Is that who it is on Giant Bomb, who's obsessed with it? I think he keeps saying stim, and so I finally tried that out actually last night, and I'm mixed because stim is great and it makes you go really fast and it heals you a little bit, and that's awesome. But I feel like grapple is a really just you can come from unexpected ways at the enemy. Well,
and Titanfall, I think more so than these other two games, is really a lot about the movement. Infinite Warfare is, but it's still the speed of Call of Duty, which is slow compared to Titanfall. I
imagine they're gonna speed it up next year. That's my guess with Call of Duty.
Yeah, my thing about Call of Duty, and I've probably said this 100 times, is I'm over it, man. I haven't liked a Call of Duty game since probably Modern Warfare or Modern Warfare 2, maybe Black Ops.
I think they maybe need to pull a Ubisoft on this one and delay the game for 2 years and try to get something really interesting.
Yeah, well, and they've been really jumping around between studios, I guess. The last 3 games of different studios made each one of them.
What is it? It's Sledgehammer,
Treyarch, I think.
Treyarch, and the one Infinity Ward.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Infinity Ward, so that makes me kind of interested to play it. So to play these new games that I wouldn't typically go buy, I've decided to also start a GameFly account.
Yeah.
So that I can just pull in, all right, a bunch of the annual game came out. What is it? Is it good?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll buy it from them, but probably not.
And I might do the same, because with a lot of these games, I really wish games still did demos or things like that used to be really popular. Because when I get if I'm looking at a game, I want to play it. I want to at least give me one mission, give me an hour to play multiplayer. Just do something so that I can determine whether or not I want to shell out $60 for a game. Because a lot of the times if I'm not super sold on a game, I'm not gonna get it. And the problem with that is, how are you supposed to know? A lot of times nowadays, trailers are very misleading. Obviously with No Man's Sky, people thought they were getting one thing, and then boom, they bought it. It's now something completely different. So that I think that is where services like GameFly come in.
Well, but here's the thing about a demo: they could take the best part of the game and put it into a demo and sell you on the concept of the game, and then you're still stuck. I think what they're trying to do is have Twitch take the place of demos, so that you can actually see the game in its entirety once it's come out, basically, if you want to. And then it's just trying to help give the viewer perspective or whatever at that point. But I don't know. I agree. I like demos a lot. I think there's a better way to do them now. I think Microsoft's answer was the best. Just to say, you have a 10-hour trial, or EA's and Microsoft's, I believe, which is you have a 10-hour trial if you have our service. Yeah,
and I the only thing I don't like about that is you do have to go in on their service, which, okay, you can say whatever you want about that, but I just miss that, because a lot of the times I want to get these games, but I'm just at least on Steam, I can return them, but I don't want to have to pay for a game and then return it. You know what I mean? Because I would just rather be okay, let me try your game. Usually for me, give me an hour and I'll determine whether or not I'm going to buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give me one campaign mission, and I'll be pretty sure whether or not I'm going to pay for your game.
It's true. It's true. Where are we? I don't know. I think that demos definitely have value, but I'm not sure where they line up. I think a demo is kind of I hate to say it, but I think betas are kind of taking the place of a demo.
Sure.
Especially with shooters, where you get an annual franchise, which Titanfall is not, which again is probably why it's a little bit more polished.
And my issue with that, though, is that you are playing an uncompleted version of the game most of the time. Plus, they're also...
That's what they tell you.
Yeah, most of the time. And it's also very time limited. Like, you have this weekend to play this game. Well, what if I can't play that weekend? Okay, well,
right.
For people like me, the way that goes down is, well, I can't play this weekend or whatever, so I'm probably just not going to buy your game because it doesn't interest me enough right now to go and buy it. Like Call of Duty, obviously, I'm just not going to buy. Titanfall, if I had something like GameFly, that's probably the game I'd be playing. Battlefield, I'm probably eventually going to buy anyway because I know lots of people who play that game. I think
I'm going to go on console for my shooters from now on. I think I don't have enough friends on PC who play shooters.
Yeah, and I'm thinking the same. The only exception being Battlefield. I might do that on PC because all the people I know who play it on PC. But I definitely think if I am going to get
you have family who play it on PC, don't you?
Oh yeah, big time. So if I do it, I'll definitely go that route. But Titanfall and all these other games I'm looking to get back into my Xbox. Like right now, I'm playing GTA 5 on Xbox, which wow, it's a great time, by the way. But yeah, I'm looking. I've been trying to get back into it, and so I think you're right. I think GameFly might be the way to go. By the way, we're not sponsored by GameFly. I just want to make that point.
We're not
right
not
now.
At all.
But hey, GameFly,
they're like the only rental service, mail rental service, basically, and I mean MAIL.
Mail rental service. Brought to you by Cliches. Now, so kind of
let's go through a couple of these things.
Yeah.
We got to wrap up, but let's see. Mass Effect Andromeda trailer was released, not launched. Did you see it?
Nope. No, I haven't.
Okay, so it was interesting. I'm not I will preface this by saying I'm not a real Mass Effect fan. I played a little bit of 1, I played some of 2, and I played a little bit of 3. It's not that the games didn't grab me. It's that investing a lot of time into an RPG is really hard these days.
Yeah.
And so with this trailer, what I noticed the most is the animation. So I wouldn't catch the little details, like that are nods to the other Mass Effects, for instance. I want to preface that by saying, in terms of the detail, though, in the actual presentation, I thought, oh man, this game actually looks like they're taking a lot of time to get the animation right, which is one of my biggest gripes with Mass Effect. It looked stiff.
Yeah, and especially